Okay guys, there's going to be times where you are going to have to watch a video and complete some notes, use the videos to finish homework, and give you some help on your review. So this is my first check on your ability to do that. Now, you received this worksheet here that I have up on the smartboard. I'm going to go through a couple, the first two basic video, and then the last one I wanted you to try. So this is all boiling down to your ability of understanding slopes. Parallel slopes, perpendicular slopes. Parallel slopes have the same slope. Perpendicular have opposite reciprocal. It's a flip change. So first start off, get the points graphed. So I'm going to minimize this so we don't see. Hopefully they'll let me do that. Doesn't look like it's, oh, there it goes. All right, so I'm going to get this graph. I think your copies might not be so great, so here's what I need you to do, maybe to help you out. Let's go ahead and highlight our X and Y axes. Okay, there's a bunch of lines here. I don't want you to get confused. And now we're going to graph and label. So A is a negative 3, 2. Our order pairs are X and Y. This is our X, the horizontal line here is our X axis. This is the origin, that's 0, 0. So negative 3 would be to the left. So I move to the left 3, 1, 2, 3. And then I go up 2, 1, 2. Put a point there. Label it A. Point's a little off. Apologize. Now we're going to do the same thing for M. Always start at the origin. 5, 4. That means we go on the x-axis 5 units to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 4 units up. That's the y-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is our M. And then R is 2, negative 2. So we go to the right 2 and then down 2. And that's our R. Now, when dealing with finding missing coordinates, it's important that we go in order by the name of the parallelogram, okay, or the quadrilateral, whatever, or the triangle. You're going to use the slope to find the coordinate of point T in the form of the parallelogram A, M, R, T. So I have to go from A to M, then to R, and so T would have to be somewhere over here, okay? Because it's a parallelogram, opposite sides are going to be parallel, meaning they're going to have the same slope. Well, I have a side, I have the side AM, or I have the side MR. Okay, so you can decide, but I'm going to do the MR because I want to, to me, it's just a little easier. So to move from M to R, I have to go down. We count those units. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units. Okay, and then I go to the left. 1, 2, 3. Well, since we're dealing with a parallelogram, it has to have the same slope. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start now at A, go down 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then to the left 3. And this is where my T has to be so I can have a parallelogram AMRT. Now, I know it looks kind of weird, but right there, these two sides are parallel. So are these two. Okay. So go in order, that's the key, but now we're just going to write the order pair. We're going to write the order pair of this point. So remember, start from the origin, we got to have to go to the left 6 units, and then we have to go down. So our answer would be negative 6, negative 4. Okay? Now, let's do that again. Let's try that. Make sure, remember, order is the key. Sorry. Get your points graph. Okay, now, to still form a square, and the order is not going to match of the name, but we still want to make it to be a square. So think about it. There's 2 possible ways. So I want a square here. So what if this AD was the diagonal? Okay? Or, I'm sorry, AC. That's what messes it up. Sorry. y-axis are C, not B anymore. So that means that if I keep my order A, B, C, D and I want to square, then I would need to maybe have a B here. So it needs to be perpendicular. And a C, and then D over here. You see what I did there? So AC is your diagonal. So now let's think about this. There's two possible answers. So we're going to go ahead and record the order pair for that. And remember, we want to have a square each time. So I could, if I wanted to, and I'm just going to erase this, could have went in a different direction. This first time I went to the right, I went clockwise. So I could say A, then B, C, D. Okay? So I could have the order pair for another possible answer, which is correct, by just going in the counterclockwise. As long as we're consecutive, we're good. So I think our B on this one, if I do that one, this one's a -2, -3. And then our D was 3, 2. And I think you just end up switching them. Okay, so they should end up being still the same answers, but we just had them switched because we just switched the points. So I want you to try number 6, and then we're going to get into, which I think I forgot to do on the bottom of the sheet, finding the y-intercept. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to scroll this up. Pause the video if you want to go ahead and do 6, or you can just move on to your y-intercept of your side. So here they want us to find the y-intercept of AD. So the y-intercept is the point where the line crosses the y-axis. Now, my line is a little off, but I'm going to get this right because I know my slope was, I believe, 5/5, so 1. So I'm going to fix this line so it gets nice and neat. And so you can see if the line crosses the y-axis at a nice exact point. So here is right there. Now I made it nice and straight. And then you can see by doing such, right here, I'm going to draw an arrow. There is the y-intercept. That's where that line crosses the y-axis. I just want the order pair for that. So the order pair would be the point where that happens, would be 0, 4, right? So I'm just going to scroll this up just a little bit. So if I was to write out just what the y-intercept is, because in your equation y equals mx plus b, your y-intercept is always the b part, which is the y coordinate. So our y-intercept here is 4. Okay, the y-intercept here is 4. So here they want us to find the y-intercept of BD. So I'm going to, let me draw another line. That's the best way to do it, is just let your graph do all the work for you. Here, 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 here. Go to BD. And then I should see that it crosses the y-axis right there. My line's a little off. I'm going to fix that. There it is. Oops. There we go. And then I see my y-intercept right. Oops. Sorry about that. I see my y-intercept. What happened? I didn't undo. Still didn't undo. Alright, let me pause and I'll fix it. Okay, so now we have it. And you can see the y-intercept crosses the y-axis at a -1. So there is our answer. So once you did the number 6 here, draw your AD, extend it if you have to, so you can find where it crosses the y-axis. And I'm going to go to the next page. So here, we're going to use the diagonals of the quadrilaterals. We're going to still pay attention to graphing, labeling, following our order. Okay, so we have S is the intersection of the diagonals. So now we're doing something a little different. Two vertices of math are A, -2, 7, and T, 2, 5. So let's start off with our two vertices. And we're going to start off our intersection. So we have -2, 7. See if you get that graphed right. There's your A. And then our T was 2, 5. That's exactly right. You have it in the same spot as I do, because I think I have that right. And our S is the intersection of the diagonals. So our S is our intersection. I'm going to put that in a different color. S was a -1, 4. Okay? So think about this. Our diagonal is going from A to S to somewhere over here in this other section. Somewhere over here. Because remember, we're going from M, A, T. And we know that if I go in order, it goes from M to A goes to T, T goes to H. So I know I'm going here, T goes to H, somewhere over here, and A and H have to be opposite each other. There's two ways they can get that. If S is the midpoint, it's in the middle, okay? Well, it has to be on this line, so it has to have the same slope. So if I look, I'm going down 3 to the right 1 to get to S. I'm just going to repeat that process. Down 3 to the right 1. And there is where my H would have to exist. So that we would have this diagonal right here. I'm sorry for the crooked line. So here's A to T to H. Well, over here, I'm going to use that with the green line. T through S is also a diagonal, so the other part has to be to the left of here. So I'm thinking I'm going down 1, to the left 3. So I'm going to repeat that. And here is where my M would have to be. Okay. So, and then there was, I gotta do that. Let me see. What happened? Diagonal, green diagonal. Okay. I messed it up a little bit. But they want the order pair for our M and our H. Our M's going to be -4, 3, +3. Our H was at 0, 1. And this is what is the Y-intercept of AT. So I look at the side AT. I'm going to highlight that for you in case you can't see it. It is this side right here. Where does that line hit the y-axis? Right here at this point. So that y-intercept is at 6 units up, so it is 6. Okay, it is 6. So I've done that one. I want you to try the next one. And then the last type of problems I believe we have, same thing, okay? But now you're missing a point. You're never missing a point. So order still matters. Using everything we did before, using our slopes, our relationships. Let's get the points graphed first. If you want to pause the video, because I'm going to pause to get them graphed, and you can check after we're done. Okay, so I have the points. We have 3, 2 for B, 5, 4 for C, -1, 2 for A. Remember, order matters. So we have a rectangle. It goes from A to B to C. Let me make sure I'm looking at the right problem. It's supposed to be a rectangle. I think this one's just supposed to be a parallelogram. I'm going to fix that. I believe it's supposed to be a parallelogram. Yeah. Okay, so we have A, B, C. We need to get the D point. So see if you can remember how to do that. Use your slopes. Look right here. D would have to be somewhere over here. Look at your B and C. I want to keep that same relationship. Hopefully you saw it as being right there. that we have that parallelogram. Okay. Now, they want us to find the y-intercept of dB. Okay, the y-intercept of dB. So now, if I draw my diagonal to represent the dB, to get to my dB, let's go green. Right now, it doesn't touch the y-axis, so I have to extend it. Okay. From D to B has a slope of up 1 or up 2 over 1, which is the same thing as up 1 over 1. So now if I extend the line, I can see where that y-intercept is, where it crosses the y-axis. We should have 5. Okay, so you try the last one. That takes care of your homework and your work for today. Thank you for using Emoto. Make sure you have questions. I will be checking this and make sure you leave it with the sub. Thanks.